Hi June. I'm
Hello.
Kim, one of the counsellors.
Hello, Kim. What a pretty name. How are
Thank
you?
I'm good, thank you, June. How are you?
Not too bad, thank
That's
you.
good. How did you go finding us today, June?
Oh, quite easily actually,
Right.
although I had a little bit of trouble getting here, so I left early.
Okay. So that's so you had some trouble just trying to find a place to park? Or?
Yes, and I came by train,
Okay, right.
but
Okay.
I struggle with trains and things, so
Right.
but I got here,
Okay.
and that's the main thing.
That's good. Okay, well, thank you for coming because
Fine.
particularly with what you've said you've been through to get here, so I really do appreciate it. And you would have got some policies and procedures from the lady at the front counter.
I did.
Great. Okay, wonderful. So I'll just, before we go through to see why you're visiting us today, I'll just discuss a little bit about our confidentiality and privacy that you would have received in your policies and procedures booklet, June.
Yes.
So with that, we, you know, everything that I write down or take any information down is all confidential. So that's quite important to us here, and with the information that we take, it's stored very confidential as well. So the only thing is I do need to let you know that we are a mandatory reporting organisation. So anything that you tell me and I feel that you could be at harm or someone else at harm, children that could be in your care or around you that could be at harm, or any illegal activity, I will need to report that to the proper authorities. And
that's fine.
just to help you through
That's
the
fine.
process. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So June, you've come here today. We're an organisation that do help people that could be possibly having some difficulty, you know, with some mental health. So we're I wouldn't say, you know, that anyone, we're always learning as counsellors. But so you've come today. Would you like to share about why you're here?
Well, I have an anxiety.
Okay, right.
I do have an anxiety, and I've seen my doctor about it, and
Okay,
and so I struggle with that.
right.
I feel my doctor can do so much, but he can't fix it.
Okay.
So it is an anxiety that does cause me a lot of
Okay.
problems.
And so, June, you were talking about the train before. Is that something that
I do have trouble travelling.
Okay, right.
I just feel I'm safe at home. It's a safe place for me.
Safe haven.
And
Okay.
so to have to go out, it does take a lot of effort.
Right.
And I do get very anxious
Okay.
catching trains and talking to people and all sorts of things like that. But
Right.
yes, it is hard.
And June, how long has this been happening for you?
Probably a few years now.
Okay.
I have struggled with it before I spoke to my doctor.
Right.
So yes, I have struggled with it for a while.
And can you think of anything that was happening then that could have triggered it?
No, well, it's hard to know. I mean, a few things have happened. A friendship fell through that I had a close friendship with a friend, and it wasn't a relationship, just a friendship, but it sort of didn't work out. And but there's been other things too, like along the way, little hiccups along the road, as they say.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a few things happening.
And before that, anxiety does pop up sometimes for you?
Occasionally it used to, but not only if I went out in a group or anything like that. But
Right.
other than that, I was a lot better than I am now.
And if I can ask you, June, anyone in your family or anything suffer from any anxiety?
Not that I know of, but
Okay.
whether or not they would tell me, you know, whether or
of
not
course.
it was something that was very private to them, I don't know.
Okay.
So they could have very well,
Right.
may have, but
Okay.
I don't know.
Right. And at these times of the anxiety, June, what types of emotions and feelings do you have?
Scared.
Okay.
I want to run, and I just want to go home. I don't want to go anywhere.
Okay.
I'm finding that I would rather stay home where I feel safe.
Okay. And at these times that you have the anxiety, do you end up most of the time going home?
Yes.
Not staying in places?
I try.
Hmm.
I went a couple of stations one day in the train and got off and caught the next train home.
Right.
I couldn't get to the destination, so it was very hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The times that with the anxiety, June, that and you're saying it sounds like it's times in your life that possibly something changes, or you're going through grief, with your friendship. So it's things around you possibly that are happening, and then the anxieties. It sounds like, is that how it seems to you?
It does. And sometimes I feel that it's been something that has started it,
Okay.
but then once it starts, it doesn't want to go away anywhere. It just stays,
Right.
and I can't.
Okay.
I fight it, but that just makes it worse.
Okay. And does it start to escalate? Is
Yes,
that what
definitely,
you're
it gets
Right.
worse.
Okay. Have you had any sort of counselling or treatment for the anxiety?
No, only talking to my doctor. That was the only thing that I've done with it.
It's a big step coming today.
I know, very big step. It's very scary.
Right.
I nearly didn't make it.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful that you did.
Yes.
So, you should be very pleased with yourself and that you're able to come today. So that's a wonderful step. So, Jim, if you'd like to find out a bit more about the sessions, possibly hopefully that would be able to support you with that anxiety. So, what I'd like to do today is to get to know a little bit more about those feelings and those emotions that happen for you at the particular time that you're starting to become anxious, and both physically and emotionally, and what you're feeling, so we can work through those together. Okay, so through our time together, have you heard of something called it's a person-centered type of therapy?
No, I haven't heard of that before.
You might have heard of client-centered. There's a few different definitions. So what it actually means is that you will just work on your thoughts and your feelings, and it's basically a lot of it, if it's okay for you, June, it'll mean a lot. You will be doing a lot of the talking while you're here. So we'll see how if you feel comfortable with that over the time.
Yes.
And look, I'm just here. I'll just be here to listen to you. And of course, I won't provide any judgment. It's just a safe area for you to be able to talk about what happens with anxiety and how you're feeling. Okay, and then when you're talking about it, it's possibly something too. You possibly might have some different skills on that to be able to help yourself with the emotions and the feelings. And it's also having you aware of what's happening for yourself. So it's about how you can also support and assist yourself when these anxious feelings come up.
That would be good.
Okay, so we can work through that together over the time, and as well, I'd love to be able to write down some strategies today for you as well.
Good.
Okay, so how do you feel about that?
Yes, well, anything would help. It is a bit daunting, but anything would help.
Okay.
Because it's just, you try so hard to deal with it yourself, but
Yes. Right.
it gets me nowhere.
Okay. Have you ever seen anybody else go through any anxiety?
No, I don't. Not that I'm aware of.
Right. To be able to see how they, with their anxiety and what happens.
I don't know whether or not, I haven't noticed it before in people or not, but I don't remember, to be honest.
And we all cope through things very differently. So it's just something that when we'll talk through and work through together as part of your counselling plan, that hopefully that's something that will be able to help you. Okay?
Good, thank you.
So do you see that? Have you got anything else that you think is affecting anything for you and you'd like to talk about today?
No, I think it's mainly the anxiety.
Okay.
It's very hard for me, as you would understand, to talk about. But I feel comfortable with you.
Right, that's and if ever you don't feel comfortable, please, we've got another 5 counsellors who work with us. So if there's somebody else here that you think you'd like to see instead of me, that's fine. Because it's all about your journey and your progress, and I'm just really here just to be here listening to you, and you'll be doing a lot of actually the therapy yourself. So hopefully that'll help through the scheme. Okay, we normally go for about 6 sessions. But again, that 6 sessions can be reviewed. So,
that would be good.
I'm hoping that it's something that over time you will feel a little bit more comfortable with talking about your thoughts and feelings, because it's something possibly that not a lot of us do a lot. So it's finding out your emotions and your feelings and just talking about them openly.
Yes.
While I'm just sitting here listening to you and being able to. Just listen and empathise with you. So it's not something that I'm going to give you any solutions. I won't be able to give you the answers, but you'll be able to, by the end of it, you'll be able to, through all your own personal centered and listening to your thoughts and feelings, you'll be able to then come with some conclusions for yourself.
Oh, that's very good.
Okay, so hopefully over time we'll get there. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
would you like to work through some things today? Would you like
Yes.
to share a little bit of what feelings and emotions that you do have?
Okay.
When you have the exam.
Well, so, for instance, if I had to go out somewhere and to meet people, I'm okay until the night before.
Right.
And then the night before I'm going, I think, oh, tomorrow.
Okay.
I think, oh, this is not too good. I don't know if I can cope. So I think I tell myself I can't cope. I feel like I am telling myself I can't cope. I tried to do everything, say, no, you'll be fine. But then in the morning when I wake up, dread.
Okay.
It's the dread of going.
Right.
9 times out of 10 I cancel.
Okay.
Because I get a really sick feeling.
Right. What type of physical sick?
It's a physical sick
Physical
feeling.
sick sounds like.
And
Right.
I don't eat or drink before I go anywhere,
Okay.
because if I do, I will be sick.
Right.
I do actually I do get sick
Right.
with it.
So it sounds like it's sort of like a build up the night before
yes.
June, and then all of a sudden it gets too much for you in the morning, and then it's easier for you to stay home than have all those emotions and feelings going through. Is that right?
Yes, because it's a scary feeling. And I have at times had a really panic attack with it.
Okay.
If I have ventured out, if it's somewhere that I really need to be, and then I do practically run.
Okay. What happens to you when you have your panic attacks?
Oh, I get sick in the stomach,
Okay.
nauseated. I get heart palpitations.
Yeah. Right.
It's dreadful. It's a horrible feeling. It's a feeling of I'm going to die.
Okay.
It's a really traumatic experience.
And how do you help the feelings?
I go home.
Okay. And then
it subsides after a while. I go home and occupy myself doing something at home to get it to go. And then because I'm at home, it eventually dies down till the next time.
Okay. So maybe if you relook at the different emotions and feelings you're having at that particular, when you're having those panic, other things that you can actually start to also talk to yourself about, may be able to support you a little bit longer. It's going to be a journey, June. So, at the beginning it might help you stay for an extra 5 minutes or so before it's too much. And then you might see a little bit of a pattern over time that is increasingly improving a little bit for you. Okay? So thank you for sharing with me about that, because it must be quite hard to be able
very hard.
talk about it. So
it's a very I don't want to use the word debilitating, but it is debilitating.
Okay. So you can see it affecting your life.
Oh yes, it does.
Okay. So you'd see that, like you said, that's definitely your primary issue. So I've put that down for your plan, and also about the therapy. That we're going to be trying the person-centered therapy. Okay. And
so explain to me again. That means that I'm talking, so I'm sort of talking to myself at the same time as talking to you. Is that what it sort of means?
So it's also, June, that you're talking about it and you're actually listening to yourself and how you're feeling about your emotions and your thoughts and things that are happening. So it's also that you also have so many skills in there that you're able to possibly put those skills to what you're thinking and feeling at the time.
Okay.
So different things that you have, and you've got lots of being able to have lots of skills and trying to be able to change those emotions and feelings, or look at them and acknowledge them, and then have a something that can happen because of them that might help through your panic and through your anxiety. Okay, so it's a bit of therapy, being able to open up and talk about it, and then looking through and seeing this is where I might have to have this type of thing in my plan. So it might be that you've got those skills and abilities to recognise how you're feeling. Okay, so sometimes we don't recognise how we're feeling, sometimes till we talk about it as well. And so it might be that some of those feelings and emotions might be something that you might want to do in your life to stop those feelings and emotions.
Okay.
Things like that. So that's when we'll put down in the plan.